Didn't I tell you not to be distracted last Friday? Here we sit with the spin and the distractions. What am I talking about? Ask Hillary Rodham Clinton. Next on Get Right with Lenny McAllister. Starting right
now. Get Right with Lenny McAllister.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
The way we help bring back America and we build the bridges and bring people together is by making sure we hold everybody accountable in a 360 fashion. So let me close with this. Yes, there is a change that we can believe in, but it will never come from a politician or a government program. We got to move away from the American Idol soundbite nature of politics and back to the American statesman of humble servant leadership that we used to see in politics. It is time to reel in government. It is time to roll out the era of the new American citizen. If we can continue to get some common sense government from both sides of the aisle, finally get Americans through the recession, not just Wall Street. We need people that can change the crisis that we're seeing, and that's why, as a proud Republican, I go through the jail ministry. I speak to the kids in the streets. So I'm never going to lay down being a Republican or being a conservative, just as much as I'll never lay down being a proud African American.
I feel like a black Republican. Money I got coming in.
I told you that there was going to be an array of distractions that were going to come up over the weekend after Disappointment Friday, and here we sit, the beginning of the week, as we start another Get Right with Lenny McAllister here on the podcast. And yes, you know the drill. Twitter, LENNY MCALLISTER. You and me back and forth. You know the deal on Facebook. You know the deal on Google Plus. You know the deal this upcoming Friday. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, Pittsburgh Cable News Channel, where I will be guest hosting once again. Night Talk, get to the point. You know the deal on all the other stuff that I've been doing. You know where to find me on my website, LennyMcAllister.com. Let's get that out of the way. It's out of the way. Because I want you to focus on what's real. And what is real, as I mentioned to you regarding the crap sandwich you got last week from the CBO, from the U.S. Senate, and from the jobs report. I said after you got this crap sandwich, they're going to tell you that, one, it doesn't stink as bad as it does, and number two, they're going to try to distract you. I said, if it's gay marriage, don't fall for it. If it's abortion, don't fall for it. If it's immigration reform, don't fall for it. And true to form, you start hearing about some of these things, immigration reform, maybe we can, maybe we can't. Some of the other things on the Sunday shows and over the weekend, and yes, I've done a lot of those shows, so in some regards, I've been part of the process that creates the problem, even though I'm not going to do that to you or to our nation. I'm more focused on what we really need to laser focus in on, which bottom line is the economy, bottom line are jobs. And here we sit on Monday, and everybody and their grandmother seems to want to start talking about Hillary Rodham Clinton. As if November 2016 is literally 5 days away, like I'm about to hand out Halloween candy October 2016, and she's about to either win and become the first woman president of the United States, which, by the way, I could care less about that. I understand it's history making, and I understand the significance of it, but anybody that gets into the misogynistic, sexist, just overall chauvinistic mindset that says that, oh, this country's going to just radically change if we have a woman president, you're a knucklehead. That's just all there is to it. So I understand the significance, but I don't get caught up in the this is going to be earth-shaking. Because, you know, my generation has had women everything for a while. From surgeons to presidents of organizations, corporations, senators, congresswomen, you name it, we've had it, we don't care. I respect women for being talented equals and in some regards better than me at an array of things. And it's just all there is to it. And any man that grew up in my generation, by and large, feels the same way. There are things that I do better. There are things that you do better. It's based on our skill sets that God gave us and the things that we develop, not our genders. The end. So let me get that out of the way. But with that said, it's 2014. We have a bad economy, and I have yet to hear. And again, agree, disagree. Some of you might be out there saying, I'm a Hillary fan. We need to hear from Hillary. So what's the big deal, Len? Here's the big deal. Unless of Hillary Clinton is sitting there talking about ways to get people back to work, This is a distraction. This is the epitome of what I talked to you about on Friday. This is kind of what I started alluding to on Thursday as we were leading into Disappointment Friday. And here we sit in the afterglow, if you want to call it afterglow, of Disappointment Friday, and here's the distraction. People want to get you right back to talking about a politician that hasn't even formally announced that she's going to run for a presidency, whose race for the White House is 2 years away. And not just 2 years away, it's like 2 years and 8 months. Not, well, actually, 10 months. 9 months away. November 2016. We're not even close. We're almost 3 full years away from this White House race for 2016. She's not offering any solutions. She's not even alluding to the fact that she's definitely running. So she's not talking about Benghazi when she actually was Secretary of State. She's not talking about the economy that she had a part in this administration's policies, even though obviously she was foreign affairs. She wasn't domestic affairs. I get that. But she's not offering any solutions for people that are struggling and suffering. She's raising money silently. She's putting together her plans silently. And anytime somebody sticks a microphone in her face and asks her, are you running for the presidency in 2016? She gives that little, you know the truth, but I'm going to chuckle and say I'm not really thinking about it right now type of gag routine that you keep seeing. And it does make you gag. What should make you gag more, though, is the fact that the mainstream media, both sides of the aisle, and when I say both sides of the aisle, I mean it just like I said it. If you think that Fox News, MSNBC aren't on particular sides of the aisle, you obviously haven't been paying attention to the last 10 years. So, the media on both sides of the aisle, many pundits on both sides of the aisle. Now we're talking about Hillary Clinton. I know there's a book that just came out, and that's part of it. But let's be honest. We've been talking about this 2016 White House race for quite some time between Bridgegate, Benghazi, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Rick Perry even. I mean, we've been talking about a race that is almost 3 full years away. The primaries for the Republicans and the Democrats won't even start for another 23 months. Iowa starts 23 months away, roughly. I don't know the exact date in January for the Iowa caucuses, but it's the beginning of January. We're 23 months away from that. But, and here's the warning that I keep giving you because I love you. I love this country. I love you as Americans. I appreciate you following the podcast. I appreciate the conversations, whether we're engaging every day or every now and then or whatever. I love you because we're countrymen. So I have to say this as a fellow countryman. Do not get caught up in the distraction. This is a distraction. This is nothing more than entertainment purposes, because as long as Mrs. Clinton, the former senator from New York, the former Secretary of State, the former First Lady of the United States of America, as long as she doesn't offer any type of perspective on the economy, any perspective plan to get people back on track, job number one is this economy. And at least Joe Biden, who you're also hearing about, recently, well, there's nothing wrong with me possibly running for the presidency in 2016, except for the fact that Hillary's running. Just putting that out there, Mr. Vice President. But you can do what you want. Even with him talking about 2016, at least he's in the administration still. At least he can have influence over policies that can get the economy back on track. He's not as much of a distraction. Yeah, him talking about running in 2016 is trying to be in the conversation, and some political advisor told him, Joe, you need to get your name out there, because if you don't get your name out there for Democrats to at least think about, you're a incumbent 2-term vice president. They win elections. Ask George H.W. Bush. They win elections. Now, of course, you can also ask the late Richard M. Nixon, too. And you will see that it doesn't always work out that way. You can ask Walter Mondale in 1984. Doesn't always work out that way. You can ask even Al Gore in 2000. Doesn't always work out that way. But there are precedents where it does work out. Where a former vice president, Teddy Roosevelt, for example, can win an election on their own. Truman, LBJ. They're out there. So, Joe, you need to get your name out there. And so, even with that, he's not as much entertainment value as Mrs. Clinton, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Right now, she is nothing more than a distraction and an entertainer. Somebody that can give a speech for $500,000 over the course of an hour, put that money in her bank, go get herself a nice car, go get herself, a little something, if you will. But other than that, she's not really offering anything for the everyday American to hold on to and get hope for this economy. And with that being the case, I caution you because I love you as a fellow American. Do not get caught up in the media spin. Do not get caught up in the distraction that this is. This is not going to benefit your life right now. And I won't even blame her for this. I won't sit there and say, and I know there are plenty of people, and you probably will agree on this, there are plenty of people that just demonize this woman, can't stand her, hate her. If President Obama has 666 behind his right ear, or actually left ear because he's left-handed, if it's behind his left ear, then she has 666 behind her right ear. They are literally like Luke and Leia off of Star Wars. They are twins that were separated by birth that both were spawned by Darth Vader of the Democratic Party, whoever that person may end up being, which I guess would end up being Bill Clinton, if you really want to get down to it. I know it's kind of freaky, but you get my point. They are basically two twins of the same egg of hatred that many, many conservatives have. Because before there was this high level of hatred for Barack H. Obama, 44th President of the United States, there was an insane amount of hatred for Hillary Clinton. And if anybody tells you that they did not hate Hillary Clinton on the right, you don't have a very long memory. You just don't. Because part of the reason why people were rooting for Barack Obama at the time, U.S. Senator from Illinois, because they're like, hey, it'll knock her off. She'll have to spend a lot of money. Yeah, she'll eventually win, but we'll weaken her, and our nominee will win in 2008. That was the initial thinking. And I remember telling an insider in North Carolina, if Barack Obama isn't knocked out by February 2008, he's not only going to win the Democratic nomination, he's going to be the next president. And I was called crazy. Like Gallagher used to say, crazy. Are you ready? I'm crazy. I'm not going to smash any fruit today. I'm just putting that out there. I don't waste food like that. But that whole mindset from 2008 came from a hatred of Hillary Clinton that started building up in 2006. Yes, exactly. Exactly 2 years before the primaries kicked in, when an incumbent president could not run for another term, and you had primaries on both sides of the aisle, just like you have right now. Difference is the economy's a lot different. A lot different. People were working. The unemployment rate, I think, was at 5. And people were looking at it, but it wasn't obviously what the concern is now. The workforce participation rate was nowhere near what it is right now. Probably was around 64.5, 65, somewhere in there. Right now, we're barely at 63. And that's coming up from 62.8, I believe it was, which both of those numbers are the lowest since 1978. It was before jobs just bled out of the economy in 2008. So it was a different time. So people had a lot more energy to be focused on their hatred for Hillary Rodham Clinton. So it was entertainment, but it was also politics. Right now, because of the economy, and she doesn't have anything to do. By the way, let's go back to 2006 for just a second. She was in office at the time. She was a senator. She could actually say something about policy in the Senate. She had some seniority there. She had some gravitas there. When she went on the campaign trail, she could impact things because she was still touching policy. There was no Senator Gillibrand from New York at the time. Didn't exist. We didn't know who she was because that person was Hillary Rodham Clinton. Believe she was the junior senator from the state of New York, because Schumer was still there. It's different now. Talking about her 2 years prior to the primaries is not the same as 2006. The economy was different. Her status was different. She's a private citizen now. This is nothing more than a distraction. And I personally, I'm not offended, like, I'm going to protest or do something ridiculous, but I do get a little offended. And again, you agree, disagree. You can talk about this. Facebook, Twitter, you know where to find me. I find some level of offense to this when I see that a private citizen that we all know is going to run for the presidency doesn't have to do anything to gin up any type of media attention or increasing, if she needs that much increasing, of a Q rating or brand identification. And she's not doing anything. She's not doing anything to really earn it other than just be herself, which from a political standpoint, from a media standpoint, that's fantastic. But I'm not talking about the media aspect of this, and I'm not talking about the political aspect of this. I'm talking very specifically to how a politician, which she is still a politician, how a politician with her background impacts everyday Americans. And right now, she's not. No offense. No, it's not really something that she's done wrong. She's done nothing offensive by not speaking on those things. Actually, from a political standpoint, that's exactly what she should do. However, she has to do what's best for her and the nation, you and I, voters, the voting electorate, many people that are unemployed and underemployed and struggling in this economy. Folks like us, we need to make sure that we're not distracted. And this is just a distraction. Now, she's benefiting from the distraction, but it's a distraction nonetheless. Anytime, and I'll expand it now. The more we talk about 2016, one, it's an admission that people are over President Obama. Number two, I think it's an admission that people don't think that President Obama and his administration can get this economy back on track. We're 5 years into it. It was job number one. They continue to focus on job 2, 3, 4, and 5. It kind of is like the quarterback that forgets that you're in the NFL to win a Super Bowl and instead doesn't mind being down 20 points because that allows him to throw the ball on every down. So they will throw for 350 yards. They'll win some individual awards. They'll win some individual battles. They'll make their opponents on the other side of the ball look bad, just like President Obama has done with the Republicans on time to time. Or from time to time, I should say. On occasion, that's where I was going initially, on occasion, President Obama, of course, has made the Republicans look bad. Just like, you're that quarterback who's going up against a prevent defense, or the second string, or a defense that's focused on other things. Their team's up by 20, or in this instance, the quarterback's team, America, is down by 20. But you're more focused on, I get a chance to throw the ball on every down. I get to call my own plays out of the no huddle offense. I get to pick on that cornerback that was talking junk all week. So yeah, we'll throw 3 touchdown passes against him. Doesn't matter that my team, America, is still down and has given up all hope to win, let alone get to the Super Bowl. And let me remind you, this team used to get to the Super Bowl fairly regularly, used to be the champions of the geopolitical realm. Not anymore. Not the same way. Not with the same level of pride. People aren't wearing their colors the same way. Kind of like, you're Packers fan, Steelers fan, Cowboys fan. I don't know about Cowboys fan. Giants fan. I mean, you understand. You always wear your colors, and generally, your team gives you something to be proud about. Well, people are looking at President Obama as that quarterback that has given up on winning the Super Bowl. So they're already looking to the draft. Who's the next quarterback that we can get? And that's fine. You can do that in football. But in real life, in this economy, we're still in the second quarter. We're down by 20 points. You could still salvage the season. You could still salvage this game. But everybody seems to have forgotten about that because they're enamored with this quarterback, which, by the way, if you look at Hillary Rodham Clinton in those regards, Hillary Rodham Clinton is the quarterback that still has eligibility left in college. May not come out when you think they're going to come out for the draft. So you may be pinning all your hopes on this player coming out that's going to help you win all of a sudden, literally next season, or in this case, 2 seasons down the road. Your team's still losing. There are still plenty of games to play. There's still plenty of time left in this game, and nobody's focused on that because everybody's focused on the entertainment value of speculating about a potential player coming in and replacing a player that's failing. It's a distraction. This is what losing teams do. Now, mind you, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm not used to losing. We haven't really done too much of that over the last 40 years. But those of you in Cincinnati or other places, Cleveland, that understand losing football, you understand this. This is what you do during week 8. This is what you do when you know your team's not going to the playoffs. When you know you don't have a legitimate shot of turning things around. This is what you do. And it's depressing, isn't it? Having a whole country do this and having the media do this over a presidential candidate, and I'm going to call her a candidate because she is, that's not even going to be in full revved up mode for 2 years, for an election that won't happen for almost 3 full years. That is a problem that we cannot focus on, whether it's for entertainment value or otherwise. Because entertainment doesn't pay the bills, and it does not put food on the table. Just putting it out there because I love you, and I'm just trying to shake you out of it. What do you think? You know where to find me on Twitter. You know where to find me on Facebook. We will do this again tomorrow, and hopefully we will have a different type of national conversation getting us past the that is the American economy. In the meanwhile, you know I love you. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Looking forward to your feedback in social media. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love each other. Love yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Take care and God bless. Peace.